How you doing, everyone? I'm Bada Bing, and today I'm going to be looking at the fast, easy direct adjustment valve for the Tokyo Marui M4 GBBR, and some other wonderful products from Federal Concepts, so thank you for joining me. Coming up, I'll be testing out this NPAS, going over the Chrono results, and showing you the gas efficiency with the valve opened and closed. Lots of time spent evaluating this one and interpreting the results. Also, multiple hours sorting through the data and rendering onto my editing software. And do you know the number one thing that kept me going through all of that? Coffee. Yes, this marvellous stuff engaged my grey matter and helped me focus. But not just any coffee. I'm talking about my coffee. More specifically, Bada Bing Coffee. I'm delighted to reveal that I am now a coffee roaster and produce small batches of ethically sourced, single origin coffee that's available to purchase online. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can head over to badabingcoffee.com and pick up a bag of beans, or pre-ground goodness. So, Federal Concepts, what's this all about then? I received a care package of things from a small business based in Portugal. Now this is great. Another startup company making gas blowback accessories, all with unique stylish branding. Best of all, it comes from my corner of the world. The man behind it got in touch with me and offered to send me out a batch of his products to see what I thought about them. Best of all, like every opportunity to receive free stuff, I get to be 100% honest with what I've been sent. No one is putting words in my mouth, it's purely my own personal feedback. I've had these items in my possession for well over 8-9 months at this point, so I've spent a good amount of time testing these things, and not simply knocking out a quick rundown within the span of a few weeks. Anything I do find throughout this evaluation period that perhaps might need tweaking is nothing more than an excellent opportunity to help improve the product. And helping out these small independent businesses is paramount. Before we get along to the FEDA review, I will go over the other accessories that Federal Concepts have sent me. I had the pleasure of a collection of these loading adapters for various GBBRs. From the 2 gas blowback Kalashnikovs in my life, to the top brand AR-15 gas magazines, the Tokyo Marui, VFC, and this GHK. OG Magpul sling, MS1, super cool.
Anything that I do this side, I can do on the other side.
Lifting the gun from one shoulder to another.
Each adapter is designed to fit like a glove and charge BBs with their respective brand. In all my separate GBBR magazines, I think the most troublesome to fill are the Tokyo Marui AKM mags. They're so disobedient. With this loading adapter, there's no trouble at all, it's so easy. The only difficulty that I had was the GHK AK loader and the newer version 3 type magazine. It wasn't able to sit flush due to the fake feed lips, although it transferred BBs just fine. That's the only negative I have to say about it. Altogether, FC have adapters for the following brand M4s, AKs, etc. Next up I have these 2 speed loading button stoppers. These ones slide onto the thin pistol loaders, as well as those extra large models. They work by protecting the plunger release button, allowing you to carry them in your pockets without the threat of inadvertently activating the button and potentially losing BBs. They also feature a marking matrix strip, allowing you to write your name or initials, and whatever BB weights you have inside the loaders themselves. Dead handy to have if all the loaders in your safe zone look the same. Next, I have these receiver covers. If you're someone that likes to rotate uppers and lower receivers, these will give you a clean seal if you happen to be transporting broken down rifles in bags, and eliminates any foreign debris from entering the working areas. FC make various versions to cater for the main AR GBBR brands, so you should be able to find a set for whatever brand M4 you own. This set is for the TM, and they click into place with a solid lock. Initially I was having a hard time removing the one from the upper receiver, but after several applications they became easier to pull off. Now we arrive at the FEDA NPAS. This valve has received quite a good amount of success since its debut, with many users out there making it a staple upgrade for their Marui ARs. During a period of time, feedback has returned to Federal concepts, and this has given birth to the next version, which sports a hard resin construction. I saw a few images online which showed the older version had broken, hence why a new improved version has replaced it. The valve is supplied with its own 1.5mm Allen key, and offers an adjustment which is stated to remain precisely where it is set, with no drifting off over time. What's more, it's so easy to adjust. The whole body of the valve is designed to conform to the void within the nozzle, and it's not going to spin all the way around when you are adjusting. I had used an old RATEC WE open bolt MPAS since the beginning, and it worked. It just wasn't made for that system, and that made the calibration take forever. If you focus on the gas inlet, you will see this portion of the valve. When it is set to the fully opened position, you will only see the widest section of the triangle, indicating that it is at its fully opened state. As you tune the valve to reduce the forward gas flow, you will begin to see more and more of the gradually narrowing triangle until you get to the thinnest point. Here is where it is at its lowest setting. Now then, the next 6 minutes is going to seem like you're at a workplace PowerPoint presentation.
Death by PowerPoint.
However, I have tried to jazz it up as much as I can, so I'm going to be putting this valve in motion and kick off with the numbers. Throwing some 2s at the clock with the tap fully opened, and the maximum output with the stock barrel and rubber on this very first batch Marui M4 MWS was well within the 380s. The absolute peak being 388.5, and the lowest shot was the 30th at 360.6 FPS.
I wonder what makes it turn.
Who cares?
There's a steady decline as the shots go along, but never more than 4 FPS between readings. Nothing translates that gradual descent more than this graph here. The graphic in the opening intro wasn't some generic result from a stock image, it really was the true output of Federal Concepts valve. Sure, 400 and 350 is a wide margin, but I think the point is how there aren't any wild fluctuations. If I'm testing at the lowest setting of the FEDA, which is around 150 FPS, the output is so low that the BBs are barely able to break past the hop-up. For the sake of reliability of getting the BBs to blast through the rubber, and getting a positive indication on the Chrono, I've dialed in a tiny amount of power. The results were spiking and dipping as they went along, instead of what we're generally used to seeing with a gas gun. It's regulating the power to remain below a certain threshold, and closely looking between each of the shots, it's up and down. Then you sit back to look at the overall readings, and they are eventually declining. It's doing a good job at holding on to a constant speed, to be fair to it. Next up, I'll try shooting 3 2s for the joules. Let's induce the joule creep, and here's how the numbers came along for the opened valve. Despite the .20 jump to the second shot, all further rounds were no more than 0.5 of each other as the numbers came in. The average reading was 1.48 joules. Interestingly, the FPS similarly follows the same pattern, with minimal loss, result after result. And reducing the output to firing the 3.2s just over 1 joule shows that over the course of 30 rounds it loses less energy than it did when it was fully opened. Same with the FPS too. The average settled in for a neat 0.98. Inducing a little more joule creep with a new pack of Jeff Bio 45 BBs, which my PSG1 enjoys eating, and with the open valve the M4 easily hits over 2 joules. Totally illegal territory if I were in the UK while performing these tests, but it's okay, as I'm currently in the Democratic Republic of Bada Bing. It's great here, we have coffee and Toblerone. Flat lining the valve with the 4.5s sees it score half a joule and below, losing only 0.12 in the duration of the test. For many of the entries it held firm within the 0.40s. Not much loss in the FPS department, but then we really are killing off too much of the frontal gas flow to do anything meaningful with the BBs, so let's move along. I was eager to see how the FEDA performed in regards to its efficiency. Firstly, I was pleased to reveal that the cycling was just as snappy with the valve closed as it was opened. It was not sluggish, and it felt like its typical savage self. Great. Now, what about those gas charges? How many shots are we likely to see? I measured the same amount of gas and send a single BB every second. Also, the magazine was kept with a healthy amount of gas, which is pretty much full with 15 grams, and I opened the valve to achieve 106 shots. As is the way with the Marui M4, the final shot usually is a light puff, and that was the 107th. With the FEDA set to the lowest output, it shot 119. 119 shots! Bear in mind that's the same gas, same temperature, and it was 12% better off. With a stock mag, it's not going to mean you'll be able to use almost 4 loads of BBs to one gas charge. No, if you're blazing away, you likely won't find similar results. I guess it's like when you're driving a car in the most efficient way possible. Your mileage would be higher than what it would be if you were absolutely ranting the guts out of it. It looks like the same thing here. In over 9 months of fiddling around with the FEDA, I think I've been given such an impressive upgrade piece. In all this time, I've seen a comparable TM level consistency, while giving you the option to dial in that adjustment. It's a tap which can blow hot and cold. It's got a hell of a wide adjustment window as well, serving the highs of 380s to the lows of the mid 100s, all from more or less a stock M4. There's a reason why it has become such a success within the MWS community. Furthermore, it's caught the attention of those bigger companies in Asia, and clones of it exist, so that says it all. Towards the final couple of weeks, just as I was beginning to go through this editing process, I discovered the FEDA, which had been installed for all this time, had snapped. No idea when, but it was still able to calibrate and operate. I think this rounds off the review of the FEDA perfectly, seeing its whole life cycle, and now I can beautifully segue along to its replacement, the latest reinforced version. Comparing the two, you'll see areas of reinforcement, along with using a harder material in general. The screw calibration has a seamless, lighter feel to it. Compared to the older blue version, a microscopic dab of blue Loctite might be best to keep it from drifting, at the same time allow for that adjustment. I've been generally shooting the M4, plinking and whatnot, and then coming back to test the output to find that it is still calibrated to the same level, so no drifting off course with my particular sample. As a growing airsoft parts manufacturer, Federal Concepts have impressed me with all the innovative products they have to offer. They all follow an identical design choice that clearly shows they all hail from the same family product line, and forms that collection under a super cool, stylish branding that makes Federal Concepts stand out. Even going beyond that, by being a name at the forefront of consideration for entire ecosystems of practical parts and accessories for our beloved toys. One more thing that is, I think, the most beneficial aspect is that FC is a common resident on the community, whether it be via DM on Instagram or over on my most regular hangouts on the Tokyo Marui Gas Blowback Discord and Heavy Recoil Club. Federal Concepts has a regular interactive presence on there, so users can all share their feedback closely and constantly work towards building better products. It even works with my Bakelite converted mags. Nice. Guys, if you like what Federal Concepts can do for you, check out the link in the description. Thanks to FC for the opportunity to play around with these products. Those BB adapters alone have eliminated those annoying loading issues that we're often faced with. They've been a massive help. Thanks for watching the video everyone, I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to stick around and subscribe. I have so many cool videos on the horizon and I cannot wait to share them with you. Thank you for tuning in. If you like what I do and have not yet subscribed to the channel, why not join me? Also, don't forget to caffeinate yourself by picking up a bag of Bada Bing Coffee. Would be great to see you tag me on Instagram with photos of coffee and your gas blowbacks. Look after yourselves, my friends.